Hello everybody, Gliderman here. So today we're back with the Blender character, and now we're going to be working on rigging. However, there's a couple things that I want to do with the mesh real quick, just to join them. So we're going to right click on this eyeball, and we're going to go up to this Object Data tab here, and then click the Add button under Vertex Group, and we're just going to name this Vertex Group I. And now we're going to go into Edit mode by pressing Tab. Press A to select everything, and then we're going to click Assign, and then here you can use the Select Deselect buttons to see that the selection is properly working there. Now we're going to tab out of Edit mode. We're going to Shift right click on the other part of the body, and then we're going to do Control J, and that's going to join the two meshes, and it's also going to keep track of that vertex group. So if we just went into Edit mode, and I have the eye selected there, and I click Select, you can see the eye is properly selected. So, now we're going to be working on that armature. So, what I like to do is just do Shift A, and then armature, single bone, and you can see we've got a bone sitting right there. And you know what? We'll also get rid of this ground by just switching to exclusively viewing layer 1. And then we're going to go into Edit mode. And you don't want to like rotate it here, because that can potentially mess up everything after the fact. You want to go into Edit mode so that you're moving the points around individually. And we're also going to click under this armature tab there. We're going to click on the X-ray so that we can see it through the mesh. So even if I was like looking down, you can still see it. Basically, it allows it to render on top. So let's go to Side View, and let's grab the base here, and we'll move that out to there, and we'll drop that down to here. And so this is going to be basically our root bone. So we're just going to name it root, and then what I like to do is just do Shift D to duplicate, and then we'll put it right about there. Seems good. On our body, and then we're gonna name, we're gonna name this core. And I kind of like to have the two separate ones here. You don't necessarily need to. It's just my preference for how to set up the structure. So basically, the root node would be able to move the entire thing. The core would move everything except the armature targets, which we'll be doing with the inverse kinematics in a later episode, and stuff like that. So we're just going to have these set up this way, and then we're going to just do Shift D again. We're going to put one there, and then we're just going to press G and grab and move it right about there. Seems good. And maybe we'll move this down just a little bit. So if we just take a look at front view, okay, maybe up back to where that was originally. And you know, that should be right about there. That seems pretty good. And then what we'll do here is we'll press W. That was E, my bad. Press W, and then we'll click subdivide. And you can see that split it into two. And so basically we'll have one up here allowing you to rotate the upper part of the body, and then the lower part of the body down there. Now we'll go into front view by pressing 1 on the number pad, and we'll just do a duplicate of that bone. We'll escape to recenter that position, and then we'll just G to grab over to here. We'll grab the front, we'll drag that all the way to the tip. We'll go to side view. We'll move that right to there, and that to there. Let's go to the top view. And right about there actually seems pretty good. So we'll click on this, we'll hit W, and subdivide. So now we're getting there with our armature. And we'll click on the core again. We'll duplicate, press escape to cancel the movement. Go to front view. We'll grab to right about there. Grab the front of it, and then drag that all the way down to the bottom. Grab the back, and then move that over to there. And then we'll grab, not that one, that one for the control. And then we'll move this one down just a hair. We'll click this, we'll hit W, subdivide, and so there's most of our structure. However, it looks like we also need an eye bone, so let's again duplicate the core. So Shift D, and then something right about there. Let's go into wireframe so that we can properly see this. And then here we'll just rotate this. Not that part. We'll rotate about the active element. There we go. And then right about there is how high the eye was rotated, so that we have a little bit of an easier control. And so basically we'll be able to rotate the entire eye like this. So let's start naming these bones. So what we can do, especially with this one for the eye, because we already had a vertex group already set up for the eye, we can just name this eye, and that will link up properly once we apply the weight paint, basically, or the weights with empty groups. We'll call this bone chest. We'll call this one belly. We'll call this arm.L, because remember, if we're looking at it this way, as from its perspective, this is left arm. We'll click on this, and we'll call this forearm.L. We'll call this thigh.L, and foreleg.L. So I think everything there is named, and you'll notice I've only done the bones that are on this one side, and we'll do a pretty handy trick in Blender. So I just Shift C so that the 3D cursor moved back to the center there, and then we want to go to pivot point 3D cursor. We want to select these 4 bones there, and let's go into front view, and then we'll Shift D to duplicate, press escape to cancel movement, and then we'll go to Control M, which will be interactive mirror, and we press X, and you can see it's flipped along the X axis perfectly. Now we'll go to armature, and then up here flip names, and now basically what it's done is we've duplicated these bones, moved them over here, and then the flip names automatically changes the .L to .R, so you can see that's forearm.R, and this one's forearm.L, this one's foreleg.R, this one's foreleg.L. And so that's pretty handy for making sure that it's, easy for us to make a rig. Now we're going to start doing some of the parenting so that we can get everything all linked up. So we'll click on this bone, then this bone, and the order is very important. And then we'll do Control P, and then we're going to do keep offset. And you can see a little dashed line appears between them. And so basically, let's just say I was in pose mode and I was rotating this bone. You can see it's moving the other bones there, even though they're not directly connected. That's why we're parenting. And then let's just change the pivot point back to median point. And we'll go back to edit mode. So we've got that one parented. We're going to click this one, then the chest, Control P, keep offset, the eye, then the chest, Control P, keep offset. And with the core, let's actually move that down a little bit. Right about there. And then we'll also drag that in so that it's like that, just so that they're a little bit closer there. So we're going to select the belly, and then the core. We'll Control P, keep offset. So even though you can't easily see it, it's still there on the connection. So if I rotate this, you can see now everything up here is rotating. So let's go back to edit mode. We're going to select this thigh, back to the core, Control P, keep offset, this thigh, Control P, keep offset, and now the core needs to be parented to the root. So now we've got that, and so that's the basics of our mesh. So if we just go into pose mode, we can test out everything that we've got here. You can see we've got that. Everything seems to be working quite nicely. Everything's moving properly there. That's working properly. The root node is moving everything, and if we drag it, everything is moving properly as well. So we're just going to press A to select everything, and then Alt-R will reset the rotation. Alt-G would reset the movement, and I believe Alt-S would recenter the scale. So now we've got our armature all nicely set up, and in the next episode we'll be working on handling the weight painting so that our bones can properly deform our mesh, because as you can see, if I'm rotating this, the hand isn't actually moving at all yet, and so we'll be handling that then. So if you want to be notified the instant that episode comes out, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!